Hey boys and girls, the Junkman coming back at you on my DVD, or detailing DVD, volume deuce. And what I'm about to do right now is a little wet sanding. And the key to this is I've got a video up on YouTube right now of me wet sanding on a Lamborghini. I'm using different products, different pads. But in this video, I should say in this video, I'm going to use different pads, different products, same polisher, and I'm going to go a step higher with the sandpaper. So first let me show you what all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing this on my Corvette. I somehow managed, because I always back into my parking spots. That's one thing you learn when you have a very low car. You back into everything. But I managed to back into, of all things, some kind of funky design pole at a Papa John's Pizza Hut, or Papa John's Pizza. And it's made and designed just perfectly where it scratched the bottom of my rear fascia, which was a bummer, okay? So I'm gonna have to fix that. Now, here's the key. That damage is so bad that I probably am not going to be able to get it all out, but when I get done, you won't be able to tell unless you stick your nose way down in there and look for it. Other than that, you won't be able to see it, and that'll hold me till I feel like painting the bumper. Now, speaking of painting the bumper, the key to this is I've painted that rear fascia before, so I know it's got plenty of paint on it, plenty of clear coat. If this was a factory paint job, I wouldn't even touch it. I'd just go ahead and paint it because the scratch is too deep. If your fingernail catches on the scratch, it is beyond your ability, okay? Don't mess with it, because you'll mess around and try to get it all the way out, and I guarantee you're gonna strike through the clear coat, and at that point, you're screwed. You're gonna have to repaint. So don't mess with a scratch that your fingernail catches in. If your fingernail doesn't catch in it, then you've got a good chance. Okay. First, let me go through a product list, show you everything I'm using. The first piece of equipment that I'm going to need is a sanding backing pad. This one's by Meguiar's. Okay. Make sure you all can read that. You never do any wet sanding without a sanding block. That is very important. If you want some even results, use a sanding block. Okay? I'm also going to be using sandpaper that I picked up at Meguiar's. It is their, I want to call it Unigrit, but this isn't Unigrit. This is Nihon Kanishi, whatever it is. This is 2000 grit. Let me get the 2000 in there where you can see it. 2000 grit. Okay, that's the first paper I'm going to use. I'm going to follow that with some 2500 grit. There you go, 2500 grit. And let me let you see the name of the sandpaper that I'm using. Like I said, I got this at Ameriglaze Distributor. I have one down not too far from my house. And I'm going to finish up with some 3000 grit. Does it show up there? There you go. So I'm going to start with 2500 or 2000. Then I'm going to move to 2500. Then I'm going to move to 3000. And then from that point, I'm going to start using my compound and my polish. Now, here's a rule of thumb that you want to follow. I'm using a flex polisher. The 3401 VRG. I got the model number right in this video compared to the other one I did. That's the polisher I'm using. German built, very nice polisher. If you are using a PC, the Porter Cable 7424XP, and for those of you in the United Kingdom or anywhere where you all have 240 volt outlets, you want to use the DOS 6 Pro. D as in David, A as in Apple, S as in Sam, 6 Pro, the DOS 6 Pro. That is a polisher that is exactly like the Porter Cable 7424 XP, only it runs on 240 volt. So for everybody in the UK and everybody that has 240 volt, that's what you want to use, okay? Or correction, if that's what you are going to use, you do not want to use 2000 grit sandpaper. The Porter Cable and the DOS 6 Pro are good up to 2500 grit. After that, when you get to 2000, it gets really hard to remove 2000 grit damage with the Porter Cable or the DOS 6. So I would highly advise against going to 2000 grit if that's the machine that you have, all right? But I'm using the Flex, so I can go to any grit. The pads that I'm going to be using, now most of you are used to seeing me use an orange pad to cut, a white pad to finish with. I'm doing the same exact thing, only I'm still using an orange pad, but I'm using pads from a company called 3D, High Definition Car Care System. Okay, 3D. Now, as you can see on the pad right there, it says cut right below the one. I'm like, where's the word at? Right below the one, it says cut. This orange pad is a cutting pad. That's what it is. Okay. However, instead of a white pad, they have a red pad, and if you look at the back of the red pad, it says finish. This is what I'm going to substitute for the white pad. Now, why am I using these? Because I can. It's that simple. I've got choices. One's not better than the other. It's just choice. Just so happened, I walk over to my rack of pads, and I see these two. I'm like, I'll use them. Plus, they're smaller. I like smaller pads anyway. Technically, they're too small for the back plate that I'm using them on, technically, but I can make it work since I'm not trying to get in any tight spots or anything like that. So those are the pads that I'm going to be using. And the polishes, you've seen them before because you've got both my DVDs, 1 and 2. I'm going to be using Optimum Compound, and I'm going to be using Optimum Polish. All right? So I could use M105, M205. I could use a whole bunch of stuff. Why am I using these? Because I have a choice. That's all it is. It's not a case of it's not necessarily a case of this is better than that. It's just a case of this stuff works from brand to brand. The process is pretty much the same. Once you understand how to master one brand, you can start moving to other brands because you understand how this works. So those are all the products that I'm going to be using. I really need to wash my car before I start. However, I want to get these DVDs made because my computer broke and I had to overnight new parts in. By the way, I'm getting an i7 8 hyper-threading core processor, new board, 8 gig of RAM. This thing is going to be fast. Right now, when I render one of these DVDs on my laptop, it takes almost 8 hours. That's how crippled I am right now. With my old computer, I could render one in an hour and a half. With this thing, I'll be rendering DVDs in 20 minutes. All right, so crunching video is a lot of work for a computer. So those are all the products I'm gonna use. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring you all in and let you see the damage and how bad it is. So I don't even think we need to pause. Let's just bring you on in here and let you take a look at that. Okay. Oh man, a brother's knees. Here is the damage in question. Look at that. Is that brutal or what? Is that in focus? I don't even know if it's in focus. But that's brutal. That is going to be a rough fix. The really bad thing about it is it's on an edge. And when you start messing around with an edge, you're asking for trouble, because the paint is the thinnest on the edge. Okay? Add to that, as I was setting this up, it turns out I see that I have some damage. I don't know where it came from. Back here. I got damage back here, so I'm going to be buffing this whole area. This is easy. This is going to be easy to fix. I ain't got to wet sand this. See if I can bank the light in here. I don't have the light set up where you can see it real easy. But there's damage back there that I'm going to have to fix. So let me put you back on the stand here. Alrighty. So that's what I'm going to be fixing. I'm going to get you all set up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jack this car up, because there's no way I'm going to work down that low. That's way too low for me. So I'm going to jack the car up, get it up in the air so a brother can not be killing his back while he's working. And get you all in there, and we'll knock this out. Here we go. Okay, boys and girls. Now that I've got you zoomed in on the damage, look at this right here. It's like, man, I did way more damage than I thought I did. Now this right here ain't gonna require no wet sanding. That'll buff out, but geez. It's like, man, I gave win for losing. Another thing, on my product list, I showed you the red finishing pad. Notice it says finish under the 3. I'm gonna substitute that for a green polishing, which is more equivalent to the white. This has just a little more bite to it. This would be exactly like the white. This finishing pad, you'll hear a lot of people like to use it for glaze. And glaze is a product that fills in paint damage. I don't use glazes. You will also hear people say that they use it to further put a spit shine on their paint. There comes a point where to me, there's just no gain. I mean, if I see with the orange pad, I get 90% shine, and then with the white pad, I get 9% more, and then with the finishing pad, I get like 0.0002% gain. It's not worth my time, you know. Nobody's walking up to my car with a shine-o-meter, and you know, there comes a point where I'd rather be out playing with some women than playing with this freaking car. You know what I mean? So I'm a red-blooded American Marine. That's the way we roll. So that's the way I look at it. So I've got to fix this damage. I've got that damage to fix. I got some damage back here to fix. But I'm going to bring you all in and let you see it when it's all said and done. Right now I need to start wet sanding. So let me do that. Grab my bucket of sandpaper. I don't know how I moved it way over here. As you can see, I got the car jacked all the way up so that I'm not breaking my back, or you probably can't see it, but I got this thing way up in the air. First thing I'm gonna grab is my 2000 grit sandpaper. There's 2500, 2000. And I'm going to wrap it like so. I'm going to put my block there, and then I'm going to bring the paper around like so, and then wrap it around one more time like so. Alright? And now, here's the part of the job that I cannot teach you. This comes from experience. How hard to go and how long to go. That comes from experience. You get yourself an old panel and just practice. Never do this on a car you actually care about, because I guarantee you're going to screw up. And it's going to be over after that. So I'm going to hit this 25 grit. And then, after doing a little sanding on it, now you see that milky stuff? That milky stuff is clear coat coming off the car. Now I'm going to wipe it away and inspect it. And I need to get way down in here and look at it. Wow. That's looking pretty good already. Let me hit it again. Again, that white milky stuff you see is clear coat coming off the car. See that? It's clear coat. Okay, I'm checking it out. Okay. Still see some damage. Now again, I'm not going to try to remove all this damage because I'm not. It's too deep. My fingernail catches on it, that means it's deep. And I'm not going to chance going through my clear coat. And like I said, once I get this done, you ain't going to be able to tell where the damage was anyway. Alrighty. Again, I'm on an edge. This is the most dangerous place to be sanded. This is where the paint is at its thinnest. This is not a factory paint job. I've painted this bumper before, so I know it's got a lot of clear on it. Okay. I'm about done. You know, I'm like Clint Eastwood said, a brother's got to know his limitations. Oh, no, he didn't say brother, did he? He said a man's got to know his limitations. So that's my saying. A brother's got to know his limitations. I ain't going to push it. Like I said, that's going to be, the damage is so low on the car, nobody's going to notice it. So I'm not worried about making it perfect. Once I buff it out, y'all ain't gonna know it was there. Okay, that was a 2000 grit, cuts pretty fast. Gotta be dangerous, or you gotta be careful with that stuff. Now I'm gonna move to 2500. Now what I'm doing is the same thing that I would do with polishes. I start with a compound, and then I follow that up with a polish. So I start with something heavy, and I follow with something light. Sandpaper is the same way. You start with a heavier grit, depending on the damage, depends on where you start. And then you go to a lighter grit so that you can undo the damage that the heavier grit did. So what I'm doing is I'm finessing out the damage that the 20 or 2000 grit did, and I'm finessing it out with 2000 or with 2500. Yeah, make sure I get my numbers right. So I started with 2500, or started with 2000. I'm all messed up. Started with 2000, and now I'm following that with 2500. And yeah. So I'm removing the damage that this 2500 or that the 2000 grit did, and then I'm gonna follow that up with 3000. So start with 2000, end with 3000, 2500's in the middle. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is definitely good enough for government work. All right, I'm gonna grab my 3000 grit. I'm gonna wrap it up, just like I did the other two. Again, you cannot do this without a sanding block. Alright. So now I gotta make sure that I cover all of the 2500 grit sandpaper. I gotta make sure I go over that and remove and make it as smooth. So what I'm doing is I'm smoothing out each grit. I smooth out the 2000 with the 2500, and then now I'm smoothing out the 2500 with the 3000. And that makes it easier to fix when I go to the compound and the polish. Okay, let's look at that. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's good enough for government work. Yep. Yep, that's good enough for government work. Right there. I'm done sanding. I'm gonna bring you in here close and let you see what I've done. See what it looks like. That's what it looks like now. This damage over here is still there. I didn't touch it. But that's what it looks like right now. I guess I should get out of the light. I'm all up in y'all's light. So, there it is. Now, let me get you in here close. See the damage? The damage is still there. I hope that's in focus. The damage is still there. See that? But when I get done, I mean, because if I try to fix that, I'm going to go through the clear coat. I know it. So I'm not going to chance that. But the damage is still there. But when I get done buffing it out, you ain't going to be able to tell. You ain't going to be able to tell. All right? So let me pause you all, get my polishes ready, and we'll get started on polishing this. Okay, boys and girls, I'm ready to polish out my wet sanding damage. I've got my Flex 3401 VRG, and I'm using Optimum Compound. Optimum Compound. That's what I'm using. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I shake it up really well. Gotta shake this stuff up real well. And this is a brand new clean pad, so I'm gonna prime it by putting a small ring of polish around the pad. Okay. In case this ever happens to you, I'm going to show y'all what just happened here in a second. In case this ever happens to you, let me show you how to fix it. Look what I just did. If you ever do that, you can scoop it back into the bottle, and then what you do is tap the bottle gently. It'll go back in. See how it's all stuck up there? So I'm gonna tap it gently, and it all goes back in. All right. That was way too much polish. So now let me wipe the outside. I'm wiping the outside edge on the pad because that's enough. And now I'll put the cap back on here and put the right amount of polish on there. Okay. Let's try this again. Now I'm going to have to kind of improvise since I don't have it exactly the way I want it. But okay, there we are. That's how much polish I'm going to use. Now, I'm going to dab this around in my work area. I'm going to be over here working too, since I've got paint damage. Hell, I got paint damage all the way up past where you all are looking. So I'm going to practically polish out part of this bumper. Now, I'm going to just pulse this so that I can spread that polish around. Okay, now at this point, I'm ready to actually work it. So let me get me a stool. Sit my old behind down here. And I'm gonna work this on a speed of setting of 5 with hardly any pressure. Here I go. Okay. I don't know if y'all saw that, but dust just went everywhere. I'm gonna control that. It's actually a video I was gonna do was how to control dusting. I'm gonna go get my infinite use detail juice and I'm gonna spritz this pad. I'm gonna put you on hold while I do that. Hold on. Okay, boys and girls, I've got me some mixed up infinite use detail juice from Gary Dean. Now the main reason I like this, it's not because of the way it performs, it's because of the cost. For those of you in the UK, you need to get whatever you can get over there. Don't, because all of a sudden the cost ain't important anymore because you all got to pay that shipping charge. So it ain't cost effective for you all like it is for us in the US. So the only reason this pad did this is when I cleaned it last, I must have not cleaned it very well because it shouldn't have done that. So what I did was I squirted it with some detail spray, and that should knock all that dusting down. So I'm gonna see here. Okay, that knocked the majority of it down. I'm gonna just do a quick little pass here because my product's starting to dry up and I need to put some more on here. So let me just do that real quick. Okay, that basically was my pad priming that you just saw there. Now I'm going to put some more product on here. And that was more like what I wanted. There you go, let you see. Alright. Now, I'm going to use that polish. I'm going to actually buff this. I'm going to buff all the way up past where you all are looking. And I'm also going to buff the back end where I got some damage with all this polish. So let me get it sprayed in there and let me give it a quick spin here. Okay, as you saw, there's no dusting now. But just to make sure I keep it that way, I'm gonna spritz my pad one time and continue on here. I gotta do this so I can lock the button on. Now, as you all know from watching DVD 1, I applaud Optimum Polishes for having that really long working time, and it does. That was usually your first pass with a compound, it ain't gonna let you work it that long. But as you can see, it let me work it a nice long time. Now, let me wipe this off. Oh gosh, and it comes off so easy too. It's a really great product. I'm really glad who turned me on to this. Brian Horn, a buddy of mine named Brian Horn turned me on to this. So I want to thank Brian for turning me on to this great product here. And look at this. See if I need to do another pass. Yes. As you can see, all the damage over here is gone. I'm checking the back end now. It's gone. That damage is gone. That damage is gone. Now I'm looking at this, and it's almost tempting me to hit it again. It is almost tempting me to hit it again. However, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to chance it. I'm not going to chance it. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is another pass. And I'm going to edit out then, you know, part of this so that y'all have to sit through just watching me buff. I mean, once you've seen it once, you've seen it 1,000 times. But I'm going to do one more pass. And I'm going to edit it short. There's my polish. I'm going to spritz it one time. That was one good spritz. And the only reason I'm doing that is because this pad, like I said, I must have didn't do a very good job cleaning it because it had all that dirt in it, that dust in it, I mean. And that dust went everywhere when I turned the button to go. So plenty polish there. I got plenty polish. So here I go. Okay, I am now ready to wipe this oof and see what she looks like. Again, this Optimum product really wipes off the car nice. It ain't hard to get off at all, as long as you don't over buff it. And it's got some really long working time. You've seen in a couple of videos I've done how long the working time is. Man. You know, I'm tempted to hit this with the rotary just to double check. Boy, I'm real tempted to hit that again. I'm not going to wet sand it. I tell you what, I'm going to hit it one more time. I'm not going to make you all sit through that. But I'm going to hit that one more time and see what it looks like, and then we're going to go to the polish, and then we'll do our conclusion. So here we go. Okay, boys and girls, I ended up, you saw me do the first pass with the Optimum compound and the orange pad. You saw me start the second pass. I then cut the tape, and I went ahead and did 2 more passes, so a total of 4 passes. But here's the deal: the first 2 I did the whole area. The last 2 I strictly worked where the damage was. Okay, so I only worked there because there was no need to do the rest of it. The rest of it was fixed. Now I'm moving to my polish. I've got my green polishing pad. Remember, I changed it from the red to the green. Red is more finishing, green is more polishing. Okay, finishing would be a last step thing that you would do. Green would be fixing the damage that the orange pad left behind. And when I say the orange pad left behind, in order for a compound to fix your paint, it beats the paint up. Well, I've already explained this on another part of the DVD, so I don't need to go into that again. But it beats the paint up, and then you come behind that and fix all that dull, beat up paint with a polish, and that's what the polish in this green pad is going to do. So I'm going to break out my Optimum polish. There she goes. Optimum polish. Make sure I shake it up real good. And I'm going to probably hit this once, because this stuff works so long that There's no need to do a whole bunch of passing. Now, I'm gonna check something, make sure this pad's clean. Okay, no dust came flying out of it, so I know this pad is clean. That orange pad just went postal on me. So I'm gonna put my polish. I want to do a thin bead all the way around, which I didn't quite get a thin bead, but gives you an idea of how much polish. Now remember, this polish works a long time, and since this pad is dry, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna spritz it one time. Now I want you to notice something. This right here is a seam on the car. Now, when the polish is first on the car, when I'm first starting to buff, this is like a insider knowledge trick. When I first start polishing, I want to stay away from that seam. The last thing I want to do is force polish into a seam. That's the last thing you want to do, because getting it out is a bear. So, especially depending on what, if you like get some 3M compound in there, you can forget about it. You ain't never getting that stuff. That stuff dries like cement. But I'll work a polish for a while till it's all the way broke down, and then I'll go across the seam. That is the only time I'll go across the seam, after the polish has been broken down. You should do that everywhere on the car. Everywhere there's a seam, you never go across the seam when you first get polish on the pad. You work that polish, get it good broken down, and then you cross that seam. That keeps polish from getting into the seam. That's a tip you're only gonna hear at a Brother in His Garage Productions. You know, the other detailers don't tell you that kind of stuff. They be trying to hide them secrets. Yeah, I figured it out on my own. All right, here we go. Accidentally bumped my polish up too high. Speed of 5. Okay, let us wipe that off, and I'm gonna call it a wrap. You know, of course I gotta put wax back on it and all that stuff, but I gotta wash the car first. Got my good old Zano borderless blonde towel here. Wipe my polish off with. Oh yeah, that looks 100 times better. Yeah, I don't know what I had going on where I got all that damage from. Must have been some cute big booty girl leaned up against the car and I didn't see it. booty was so big I wasn't carrying, which usually I carry. I don't care how big a booty is. Well, all right. So, it is now time to bring you boys and girls in here and let you have a look at the finished product. All right. Now, oops, almost fell. Okay, let's see if y'all can see where the damage was. My head's in the way. Let me try to get, I'm trying to get where the best angle. See if y'all can still see it. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm right here and I don't see it anymore. I know it was somewhere around there. That's where it was. Somewhere around there. And then plus the damage that was in the fender, you notice all that's gone. All that damage is gone. And notice, oops, okay, I see some street marks right up there. Goodness gracious, I'm going to go over the whole car. When I do a wash, it's about that time. Haven't done it in a while. But, I mean, look how pretty the paint is. And let's go look at it again one more time. See if we can see it. It was right here. Oh, get my head out the way. It was somewhere right there. I'm trying to hold the camera, keep my head out the way. That's where it was. Alright, let me get the back end. Let's shoot it from the back end. We'll see if we can see it from back here. Okay. I don't know, maybe when I get it, when I start editing, maybe I'll see something. But I can't see nothing right now. My old eyes, I can't find it. I know it's still there. It has to be because it was deep. So maybe I'll see it when I get upstairs, or maybe I got rid of it all. Like I said, I didn't want to chance it. I wasn't planning on removing it all because it was pretty deep scratch. But man, if that ain't good enough for government work, I don't know what is. Like I said, ain't nobody gonna be, you know, I'm exactly 12 inches from the car right now. 12 inches. You can't see it from 12 inches. You ain't gonna see it when the car's sitting on the ground standing and you standing up looking at it. Because it was pretty low. So, for all intents and purposes, that damage is gone. And this is the back end where I had all that mess going on back there. As you can see, all that's gone. I don't know what was going on back here, but all that's gone. So let me put you all on the tripod. We'll recap and we'll call it a wrap. That was a rhyme. I'm a poet, don't even know it. All right, boys and girls, basically that's it. I had a lot more success than I figured I would, considering how bad the damage was. I mean, I'm feeling it right now, and I can't even feel it anymore. So I managed to buff off pretty much all the damage, and including the wet sand that I did. So just to recap real quick, I started with 2,000 grit sandpaper, followed that with 2,500 grit sandpaper, followed that with 3,000 grit sandpaper, then I followed that with the Optimum Compound on a orange pad, Optimum Compound on an orange pad. I then followed that with Optimum Polish on a green pad. Keep in mind, again, keep in mind, the green pad is equivalent to the white pad. So it's just that when I'm using the orange and the white pads, I was using Buff and Shine's color code system. That's the colors they have. But however, I was using pads by High Definition Car Care, and their colors are different. Their green pad is equivalent to Buff and Shine's white pad. And you can't buy it directly from Buff and Shine. That's why you have to get their pads from other distributors who sell them. They only sell wholesale. So that's basically, I mean, it's the same thing. I only did one pass with the polish, and you saw how good it turned out. So that's pretty much it. Keep in mind that tip I gave you about not getting polish in the seam. If you have to go back the video up when I show it. As a matter of fact, let me just show it real quick right now. I want you to see that seam. There you go. Look at that seam. That joker's clean as the board of health. Look at it. Look at it. Ain't no polish in there nowhere. See, that's the trick to it. So, so there you go. That's how you do it. Remember tricks like that. Those are things you'll learn. If I can, I'm gonna squeeze some more information into this DVD. I want to get into some pad cleaning. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go up and start editing. So if there's no videos after this, then you know I ran out of space. If there is, it'll be about pad cleaning. So I've got to get up and start editing these, see how much space they take up. And plus I'm waiting on my monster machine parts to come in so that I can edit this stuff and encode it a whole lot quicker than 8 hours. That was killing a brother, boy. Man. So until the next video, boys and girls, this is the Junkman, and you know I'm always shining out.